ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 for the first time in a while for episode 124 of the 815 Exchange. And well, as you can see, we are now on the beige couch, alright? And not the blue couch in the comforts of the 704. We are back in the 336. I am on winter break. First semester is in the books. I made Chancellor's List again, so thank you. Appreciate it. God bless. This, I don't think this is, I feel like pretty comfortable when I say I don't think this is going to be too long of an episode, at least compared to what we've been doing the past couple weeks. Just not as much to talk about, but we'll see. I've said this before, and you've been here for 50 to 60 minutes. It's how the game goes sometimes. But, as always, and as you guys have been doing on the road to 900 subscribers, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, and as I always say, everything you're looking for can be found in the description, whether that's my social media links, whether that's timestamps. You really want to just hear me talk about the World Cup, which is what I'm going to open up with instead of college football, or you want to hear me talk about the bowl game so far, or you want to hear me talk about entertainment, whatever it is, feel free to let me know, and, feel free to skip ahead and, utilize those timestamps. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get the show on the road. The World Cup. The World Cup concluded this past weekend. Of course, starting off, had the third place game on Saturday, Croatia and Morocco. Solid game. Not going to sit here and act like it was an all-timer, especially compared to what happened yesterday. But, solid game. Croatia gets a second straight World Cup medal. First off, Likovic, the goalkeeper for Croatia, was phenomenal. All World Cup long was phenomenal. He was great. He was great in this game, even though couldn't get the clean sheet. But overall, great game. Modric did Modric things. I mean, Croatia is just kind of... We don't commonly refer to... I guess their current generation is like a golden generation. But it's been, compared to what we call Belgium's current generation, a golden generation, they didn't get the results. Croatia's generation right now, they're getting results, and this will be a part of history that will be remembered very fondly, I think, amongst Croatian fans and Croatians, just with the quality of team they've had, and they've proven that back to back. Morocco, nothing to be, in despair about. I know there was some controversy with the ref in this game, as there have been a couple, controversies with refs going on in this entire World Cup, to be honest. But, they kind of confronted them after the game, all that stuff, yada, yada. Anyways, Croatia finishes third. Morocco still hell of a run. Nothing to be ashamed of. Now, Argentina, France. Of course, there is no other way. I mean, I can build this up. We had a plethora of things on the line. Okay, greatest of all time. Label for Messi. Is he the undisputed GOAT? That was on the line. Who is the best player in the world? That was on the line. Of course, Argentina trying to break the drought for not just themselves, but South American teams. First South American team since Brazil. First time for Argentina since Maradona was leading the charge. For France, could they break the history and become one of the handful select, and for the first time in a very, very long time, of teams and nations to win the World Cup back-to-back? Could it be done? Mbappe, Messi, teammates, all that stuff, all the headlines. But Sunday comes and Argentina is destroying France. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It wasn't even so much Mbappe was getting shut down. He wasn't getting shut down. But it wasn't like he was getting the ball and then it'd be a great defensive. Nah. He just was not getting the ball at all. Because Argentina, it felt like they had about 80-20 possession. It felt like France only had the ball to give the ball back to Argentina in that first about 70 minutes of the game. Especially the first half. I mean, it was complete and utter domination. And Angel Di Maria, a incredible choice to start Di Maria. Because he was, I mean, killing Dembele before he took him out. I mean, he could do nothing with him. His creativity, it was what France needed in the moment, but Argentina had it. Di Maria was classic him. All right? Messi got a goal, got the penalty. Di Maria also got a goal in the break. So, Argentina's up 2-0. Going into the 70th minute. Finally, the champs make some changes. Well, some more changes. Brings in Coleman and Camavinga. Takes out Griezmann, which was, a big shock considering how good Antoine Griezmann has been this entire World Cup. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, somehow, someway, 10 minutes later, the real World Cup began, and it became an all-time World Cup final, and what many are calling one of the greatest World Cup finals because of what happened in the next, end up being 30 minutes plus penalties, but in really the next 2 minutes. Kylian Mbappe, best player in the world, formerly best young player in the world. The man looks hell-bent on taking Miro Klose's World Cup goal-scoring record. Well, we've been looking for him all game. Finally, he gets space. They draw a penalty. He gets one. 80th minute, he gets one. Not even 2 minutes later, in the 81st minute, still, gets the ball back, gets the pass, tips it up. I think it was Turman, flicks it back to him. An incredible volley, a blue lock like rocket into the net. 2 goals in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. And just like that, we are back in business. He ties the game up, sends us over after, and nearly scored the hat trick in regular time. Sends us over to extra time. Messi gets the goal. Messi gets the 2 goals. He takes back the Golden Boot race, right? 2 minutes later after that, guess who? It had to be him, right? Mbappe, another penalty. What does he do? Same location, smashes it. We go to penalties. After the first 70 minutes of this game looked like it was going to be one of the worst finals of all time, we now somehow in the next 30 minutes of play ended up with one of the greatest. Just back and forth. Every time Argentina or Messi looked like they pulled ahead, Mbappe grabbed them back or just, yanked them back, said, come here like Scorpion, and brought France back from the brink of death. Head to penalties. Guess who the first penalty taker is? None other but Kylian Mbappe. Alright, Emi Martinez has been pretty good, dare I say, at least one of the more notable goalkeepers because of his antics for the most part of this entire World Cup. Mbappe put 4 past him, and 3 of them were penalties, and he shot it to the exact same location, and there was absolutely positively nothing Emi Martinez could do about it. There was nothing he could do about it. He got pieces of it. He still scored. I don't know what happened. It was the changes. You can call it whatever you want. Alright? But Kylian Mbappe, it's what I said last week. You have to be able to mark him for 90 minutes. And Argentina found out the hard way. Where they should already know because he did it to him when he was 19. But we won't talk about that because, Argentina's a little sour about that right now. You have to mark him for 90 minutes. You don't mark him for 90 minutes, you make one mistake. Argentina made one mistake, and then they made 2 mistakes, and they got burnt twice. 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. Then he got it done in extra time. But despite Mbappe's heroics, it was not the day for him because Argentina is simply just better at France at PKs, and they get it done in PKs. It was a deserved win still, even with all that said. Messi gets the robe. He comes, the GOAT. He gets the last trophy off of his hit list. So yeah, he wins the Golden Ball for best player. Mbappe ends up with the Golden Boot. Emi Martinez wins the Golden Glove and then humps the Golden Glove. Argentina then goes and talks wild about France in the locker room, which was, you know what? I get it, sports. I've been inside of a locker room. I don't really get the Mbappe chirp, especially considering he scored, once again, 4 goals. And if we're counting, last World Cup game he played against y'all, he scored 6 goals in 2 games against y'all. I don't know. He's kind of the boogeyman for y'all right now, so I wouldn't really speak on him too much. But nonetheless, Argentina gets the win. They finally get the World Cup. Messi finally gets his World Cup. Huge moment. Everybody is very, very happy. Even though that Argentina team is very, 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 very remarkably unlikable. I still don't like them, but I have respect. They were the best team this year, and it's a well-deserved win. They put in work. France, we'll see what happens when they're healthy. And, of course, Mbappe will only be 27 in 4 years' time, and that will be here. So maybe I have enough money to go see him play and go see the World Cup, because that would be pretty cool. But, yeah, good World Cup. Shout out to, it was well done. I really feel kind of iffy and kind of sick giving any type of credit to Qatar and FIFA because of how corrupt those organizations are. But, yeah, it was another great World Cup. It's the world's game. Beautiful sport. And, yeah, congrats to Argentina and Messi. Now, we're going to slide over to... I feel like I can fit college football in. Before we hit the entertainment segment, I feel like I can fit college football in. So let's get it, all right? Had a couple bowl games going on, of course. The only ranked bowl matchup was Troy and UTSA. Of course, UTSA has been the class of the Conference USA, which I would know all about because that's where Charlotte was the past couple years. Frank Harris has been the bane of every single Conference USA team's existence, and even somewhat outside of the Conference USA. Well, this game was marred by some god-awful officiating and, my goodness, all of the turnovers. All right, UTSA played their sloppiest game in probably 2 years. 4 forced fumbles and 2 picks for Harris. And the turnover battle ends up killing them. Troy, defensively, fantastic, like I said. They cause turnovers in opportune situations, cause all types of problems for what is usually a dominant UTSA offense that is always clicking seemingly. All right, Frank Harris, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He didn't have it. He did not have it, and Troy did enough. Troy gets the win 18-12. Louisville takes out Cincinnati. Yes, Cincinnati, of course, still nursing the pain of losing Luke Fickell. It didn't get any better at the bowl game. Louisville gets the win 24-7, and it was because they ran for over 280 yards rushing. They ran wild on Cincy, all right? Maurice Turner with 160. Jawar Jordan, my goodness. I think on only 9 carries as well. 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. They had 7 sacks of Prater in Cincinnati. The defense showed up big time. They ran wild. I will give a shout out to Ivan Pace, the star for Cincinnati. He came to play, all right? Man had 16 tackles. I cannot fault him. But that Bearcats team just didn't have it. Louisville gets the win in the bowl. And Oregon State, all right? Well-deserved. I was glad to see them get their bowl berth and become bowl eligible. They got to play Florida. Now, Florida, of course, missing Anthony Richardson because you know how this goes by now. Unless you're in the playoff, your top players, if they're going to the draft, are probably not going to play. I hate it, but it is what it is, and you got to do what you got to do for your health. But I hate it, all right? I'm not going to lie. I hate it, but I understand it, all right? I'm not ever going to blame a player for sitting out a bowl game. But, as a fan, I hate it because you want to see the best players. You want to see the actual reflection of those teams playing the bowls. It's more exciting. It's fun, but, I get it. Health reasons. Trust me. Go get your bag. Florida missed him. All right, this one was ugly. All right, and you know what? Good for the Pac-12. Good for the Pac-12. All right, as a USC fan, good for the Pac-12. All right, Oregon State, this wasn't close. 30-30. Gulbranson goes 165 and a touchdown. Fenwick wins 107 yards on the ground. Kyrie Fisher-Morris, 11 tackles, one sack and 3 TFLs. He was everywhere, all over the field. And yeah, it was a phenomenal performance. All right, it was a phenomenal performance for Oregon State. A complete game. Now, Florida, of course, you can say what you want. They didn't have everybody. They didn't have AR-15. Whatever you want to say, doesn't really matter. Oregon State won. Oregon State gets the bowl win. And you know what? That's good. It's good for the boys in Corvallis. Once again, like I said earlier in the season, I will not miss having to travel to Corvallis. But respect Pac-12. Good to see them get the dub. Bowl season rolls on. Entertainment. Avatar came out. I heard it was good. I ain't gonna watch it. I know this is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna wait till that comes out. Actually, James Cameron might not allow that to come out on the streaming service. But maybe he does, because I'm not going to go this unless I get really, really bored in the next like weeks. There's pretty much nothing you can convince me to go watch that movie in theaters. I know it probably looks beautiful. It's probably an incredible cinematic experience. But unless I get bored, I am not spending my money to go see that movie. Respectfully. The first one, I don't even remember anything about it. I just know it was the Blue People. I know Zoe Saldana was in it, and that really bored. I think Sam Worthington, is that his name? Y'all got it, alright? I heard it was good. Y'all can let me know. I personally am not going to probably go see that. But, go crazy. Now, TV, alright? Chainsaw Man, episode 10? Yeah, episode 10, I believe. Wow, already episode 10. Again, we're still in the aftermath, alright? Aki, they spent the entire budget making this man look as beautiful as possible while he cried for him and Ale, especially after reading the letter from her sister. I'm wondering if she's going to show back up in the story. We didn't see her face, so maybe not. But, yeah, gets the letter, basically finds out that the only reason she was doing this was because she was in love with him. He's sick to his stomach, and she cries for him, which was her request. You need to stay alive so someone can cry for me. And he cried, and yeah, Aki down bad. But he's about to get another contract with the Future Devil. So, we will see what that is about. He only has 2 years left to live, according to the Cursed Devil, so he can't give up any of that. Maybe he has to give up some limbs. I don't know. We'll see. Aki kind of trying to recover, somewhat down bad, but still motivated to take down the Gun Devil. Denji. Starting to realize that he's starting to lose some of his humanity. As he realized that he wasn't crying for some of the people that he feels like he should have been crying about. Him and Power, we can tell the relationship has expanded and continued to grow. They are still the dynamic duo of the show. Him and Powie, as he calls her. However, they went up against Mads Mikkelsen, which is not his real name, but he looks like the actor Mads Mikkelsen, so we're going to call him Mads Mikkelsen. Alright, Mads Mikkelsen, the greatest devil hunter in the world. And it's for good reason, because the man went Ultra Instinct. He was in the Matrix, and he was cooking him and Power. Alright, Denji and Power were getting cooked the entire show. Alright, entire episode. They even threw on the glasses for +1 intelligence. It didn't matter. Came up with a plan, started using their heads. Still got cooked. And then when he said the lesson was over, he went back and killed Denji again. It was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in my life. Mads Mikkelsen is a menace, but he might just get them right. We will see. I am intrigued. Makima was pretty much in the shadows pretty much the whole episode. We didn't see Kobeni either, so we'll see what happens there. And hopefully get some more expectations on Kobeni's powers. Also, no Khan this week. He's currently mad at Aki for making him eat something way too big. But, yeah, we'll see. I miss him and Ao. Makima's still best girl, I guess. Power up the rankings maybe a little bit. But Mads Mikkelsen, we'll see what happens there. Other stuff I watch. I'm currently watching The Rookie with Noah Centineo. It's actually been a good show. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a good show. I've enjoyed it. I haven't finished it yet. I think I got like 2 episodes left, but it's been a good show. Too Hot to Handle. Probably the most fire cast in terms of attractiveness that they've had. Please, any of you that are single. Flavia, Imogen, Britton, Caliph. I think, though, Calif's still with Seb. Literally, any of y'all, if y'all are single, feel free to hit the boys' line. I can show you a good time. I do not have as much money as them, but I can still show you a good time. So, yeah, just hit the boy up. But, yeah, that was a wild season. Again, they continue to give the winners to just whoever, to be completely honest, and not who really deserves it. But nonetheless, I'm not hating. It was a pretty solid season of Too Hot to Handle. And music. Young Dolph. Posthumous album. Paper Route Frank. One of my favorite albums of the year, I think. Not going to give it a rating because it was only first listen. I listened to it last night. And, you know, I'm still riding the high of that. But that was very, very good. But I'm not going to lie. Memphis rap kind of has a little bit of... It's like not a guilty pleasure. Because it's not like I'm ashamed of it. But it's like... It's always going to hit for me. It's one of those things just because of... It's always going to hit for me. It's going to be very hard for it to miss for me. But probably one of my favorite albums of the year. So, yeah. I'm glad they did Dolph justice because, yeah, phenomenal. Paper Route Frank. Go listen to it. Rest in peace to young Dolph. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us, of course, to the National Football League. And I know what y'all, once again, are here for. All right, and we have plenty to talk about, by the way, in the NFL. So thank you to the NFL teams for making a very entertaining week. Now, before, of course, we talk about my beloved Cowboys, we got to start with the national schedule and the rest of the schedule. We got to go to Thursday, baby. And, of course, we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. And I don't know how else to say this, but Brock Purdy is still that guy, all right? 17 for 26, 217, 2 touchdowns, run, CMC, run. 108 and a touchdown for McCaffrey. He also had 6 receptions, 30 yards, because I know we got to keep it with both of them when it comes to CMC. Kittle, finally, I can talk about George Kittle on this. And shout out, because I got a lot of 49er fans in my family and in friends. So shout out to you guys. Y'all want some love. Here's the love. All right, George Kittle finally shows up again. 4 receptions, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. I feel like Nick Bosa should have had about 5 sacks in this game that got called off for whatever reason that the refs decided to come up with. But you know what? It did not matter. 49ers win. Geno didn't play bad, but 49ers just a better team. They take command of that NFC West. The Vikings nearly embarrassed themselves. They were down 36-7. Yeah, they were down 36-7 at one point in time, nearly heading into the fourth quarter. All right, they got a goal. They scored with 1 minute, to go. Blah blah blah. Would be the biggest comeback in NFL history. I was like, what are the Vikings doing? In fact, I was still shocked about the result of this game. During dinner yesterday, I was talking to my stepfather, and I was like, yeah, at least we're not the Vikings, talking about the Cowboys. And then he reminded me that the Vikings came back and won this game after being down 36-7. They scored 1, 2, 3, 4 plus a field goal, the game-winning field goal. 5 straight unanswered times. 4 straight unanswered touchdowns, then threw on the field goal. Improbable. Ridiculous. Insanity. I don't know how the Colts blew this game, but they managed to blow it, and the greatest comeback in NFL history was cemented. Kirk Cousins goes 460, 4 touchdowns, had 2 picks, but we really only need to talk about the 460 and 4 touchdowns now, do we? All right, now, normally when we talk about the Minnesota Vikings and we talk about that receiving core, we're talking about one man, okay? You know who that man is. It's Justin Jefferson. All right, it's Justin Jefferson. Now, Jettis had 12 receptions, 123, and a touchdown. So Jettis did his thing. But KJ Osborne played the game of his life. 10 receptions, 157, and a touchdown for KJ. He was the man. All right, he was the man. He showed up big time. Even showed out more than Thielen. Thielen had a touchdown in this game, though. 4 different players, by the way, with the touchdown. Dalvin Cook, one of those, 95 yards rushing, 93 receiving. Great game for Dalvin, including that long touchdown. Eric Kendricks, 12 tackles and a sack, 4 TFLs as well. Helped turn the tide for the Vikings. And yeah, the Colts fell apart. Defensively fell apart. Offense could not score. It was just a complete and utter collapse. An embarrassing collapse, but just a complete and utter collapse. An embarrassing moment, but a legendary one for Minnesota. So congrats to the Vikings on the win. The Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. No Lamar Jackson, of course, as you guys know, he is injured. So we got Tyler Huntley in for this game. Yeah, this game was not pretty. All right, Browns get the win 13-3. If you like defense, here you go. Nick Chubb almost hit 100 yards for the fantasy owners. But besides that, this was not too pretty of a game. Watson protected the ball a little bit better than he has in the past couple weeks. But, still knocking off that rust for sure. But the Browns get the win. And finally, the Bills and the Dolphins played a classic. All right, it was a very, very good game. Unfortunately, because the Vikings and the Colts, not the best game of the day, but still a very, very good game. These were all 3 of those games, by the way, the last 3 games, all on Saturday. So, yeah. Josh Allen. He's had the highs of MVP Josh Allen to the lows of, oh Lord Jesus, what is Josh Allen doing? We had the highs this week, all right? We had the highs, 304, 4 touchdowns, 77 yards rushing as well for Josh Allen. Monster game. Monster game for Josh. He was unchained. Unchained in this game. They were down in the fourth quarter. He helped lead the comeback. They struck back immediately, got the 2-point conversion as well, which he got. And then they get the game winner. He drives down the field, gives Bass short position in the snow, gets it to go. Josh Allen, Bills get the win. Tua had 234 and 2 touchdowns. Weddle had 3 receptions, 114, and a touchdown. And a touchdown. Raheem Mostert with 136, but it was not enough, and it just wasn't to be. Like I said, Josh Allen, monster game, spread the ball around very well, and yeah, Bills get the win, take control of that AFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles still have the best record. I feel like they've played the Bears multiple times this year. I don't know why, or maybe it's because I don't know, just similar. I feel like they've played the Bears multiple times. But the Eagles take out the Bears this week, 25-20. You know the drill by now. All right, you know what it is. Except Jalen Hurts didn't play his finest game, but he still had 300 yards. Through the air. Did throw 2 picks, however. Justin Fields goes over 1,000 yards rushing. Again, continues to have a great sophomore year. 14 for 21, 152 and 2 touchdowns through the air, 95 yards rushing. Hurts, on the other hand, like I said, still business as usual. Despite, the turnovers, 61 yards, 3 touchdowns. He gets the hat trick on the ground. 2 of the best young running quarterbacks. 2 of the best young quarterbacks, you could dare say, just in the league, if we're being honest. A.J. Brown with 9 receptions, 181. And, Eagles get it done. It's still 13-1. Don't know if they've got a loss left on their schedule. So, again, Eagles, they look like the overwhelming favorite in the NFC, in my opinion. The Saints take out the Falcons 21-18. Nothing too crazy of note. The Red Rifle had 151 and 2 touchdowns. Desmond Ridder in his first game had under 100 yards passing, which is not ideal. He threw the ball 21 times, so not really an excuse there. But, we'll see. Mariota went onto the IR, so they're going to have to write it out. Al Geyer had a little bit of a better game, though. 139 and a touchdown, but wasn't a beast. Saints get the win in the worst division in football. Now, keeping us sliding, all right? Keeping us sliding here. The Lions take out the Jets. The Detroit Lions continue to just be quality. They are now 7-7, ladies and gentlemen. 7-7. Still 7-7. A wild end-of-game sequence, by the way, to end this game, but the Lions are able to hold on after they get a 51-yarder. Jared Goff, how about the boy? 51-yarder with less than 2 minutes to go to take the lead in this game, and that ends up being the go-ahead. Zach Wilson returns as the starter. Honestly, he was pretty solid. He wasn't perfect, but he was pretty solid. And you know what? Saab might be a little generous. He was aight. He wasn't. He could have been more efficient. That's what I'll say. He should have been more efficient. He did throw 1 pick, but he had 317, 2 touchdowns, So it was not a good game necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily call it a bad game for Zach Wilson, but in the heaps of seeing, the rest of the other quarterbacks around him, Trevor, Fields, so on and so forth, succeed the way they have succeeded this year, it's kind of saddening to see if you're, a Jets fan, because he's just not been that guy. But, Mike White had to sit out. Zach returns. Goff goes 252 and a touchdown. Of course, like I said, the game winner. And, Lions defense shows up big time. Okawara with 2 sacks in this game. Jerry Jacobs gets a pick. And, just couldn't get the rushing game going. Once again, that's just been, since Breece Hall left, that's just not been the same Jets team. And the Lions have been surging. Lions get the win. The Steelers took over Bank of America Stadium. All right? I knew there are a lot of Steelers fans in the Carolinas. I'm going to say that right now. As a North Carolina, there are a lot of Steelers fans in the Carolinas. Every single one of them pulled up to Bank of America Stadium. It was sad. I'm not a Panthers fan, but it was sad. All right? It was a glorified Steelers home game. The Steelers take out the Panthers as well. They gave them that L. They traded field goals in the fourth quarter. Najee Harris looked a little bit better. Deontay Johnson even showed up in this game. Good game for the Steelers. Panthers just embarrassing. Their leading rusher had 10 yards. 10. There's nothing good I can say about them right now. All right, the Jaguars and the Cowboys. Oh, my gosh. Jaguars and the Cowboys. Y'all were waiting on this one. I know. I know. We were up 27-17 with, let's see, yeah. Actually, even better, 27-10 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Close the game. We win. We beat the Jags. Let's go. But no. This is the Dallas Cowboys. So you know how this goes, right? 1 week we look absolutely brilliant. Everybody hypes us up. The next week we got to come back down to earth. So guess what? Last week, hype us up. This week, come back down to earth. And boy, oh boy, did we come back down to earth. Trevor Lawrence has been a man unchained. All right, he has looked every bit of the number 1 overall pick. He has looked every bit the generational quarterback he was hyped to be. The man has been on a mission. The last 4 weeks. Yeah, last month really. All right, he has been unstoppable. No joke. Top 5 quarterback in the league the past month. I mean, dude has been ridiculous, all right? He's making every throw. He's making the right decisions. It's just been incredible, all right? He 27 for 42 in this game, 318, another 4-touchdown game for Trevor Lawrence. Threw 1 pick, doesn't even matter. ETN with 103 in this game on the ground. Clemson just up good, all right? Just up good. Zay Jones, 6 receptions, 109 and 3 touchdowns. Evan Ingram, 8 receptions, 62 yards. The only thing I'm going to say about the Jaguars receiving corps, even though they've played better, somebody showed up at least from it, despite people thinking it was going to be a weaker section of the team. Got to get better with the drops. But you know what? They keep showing up. Whether it's Trevor, whether it's them, they keep showing up. However, I also got to give a shout out to Rayshawn Jenkins. By the way, he had the pick 6 to win the game. In overtime, 40-34. He had 18 tackles in this game, 2 pass deflections, 2 picks, pick 6 game winner. All-time great defensive performance from Rayshawn Jenkins. Dak Prescott, highs and lows. 256, 3 touchdowns, 2 very costly picks. Rushing game was solid, nothing too crazy. 154 on the ground total for us. Noah Brown, for all the great things he did in this game, including the 2 touchdowns, you better make that catch and don't give Jenkins a chance to return that. Unfortunately, he did not make the catch and Jenkins picked it off, and we lost the game. So, yeah, unfortunate situation there. Hoping the best for LVE with the neck injury. But, yeah, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, he's a monster. He's the real deal. Believe the hype. And if you didn't know, now you know. Cowboys doing what they do. All right, we're not done with the overtime games either. All right, we're not done. All right, we got at least one more for you. All right, the Chiefs and the Texans go to OT, surprising fashion. I know, the Kansas City Chiefs, the worst team in the league, the Houston Texans. How did this happen? Texans, for whatever reason, decided that yesterday was the day. All right, they were going to look like an actual football team. All right, it didn't work out. All right, Chiefs still got the win in overtime, 30-24. Jerick McKinnon went 26 yards. Wiped the game out. He's been great the past couple weeks, by the way. McKinnon, in terms of either having a major game or making a major moment in a game, he showed up. All right, so credit Jerick McKinnon for whatever reason. Past couple weeks, he's been performing. He's been performing better than about to what when he was signed by them. We thought Jerick McKinnon might be able to do. He's been able to do past couple weeks. We'll see if it continues, but yeah, that could bode well, adding another, element for Patrick Mahomes to utilize, another weapon as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, and of course they're continuing for championships in Kansas City. Mahomes himself had 336 and 2 touchdowns, 36 for 41, a very efficient day, a very good day for Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey back to 10 receptions, 105. That's what he does. Juju Smith-Schuster's 10 receptions and 88 yards as well. A very Juju-esque game, if I say so myself. And yeah, the Texans played solid. Davis Mills, 12 for 24, 121 and 2 touchdowns. They had it going. To be honest, they had it going. But to me, the Chiefs outlast the Texans, get the win on the road. The Broncos take out the Cardinals 24-15. Yeah, not the prettiest game either. Broncos pretty much dominated for most of the game. Of course, the Cardinals are without Kyler. But nonetheless, in a matchup between two teams with backup quarterbacks, the Broncos are able to get it done. Trace McSorley started the game for the Cardinals. He was not looking like an NFL quarterback. He threw 2 picks. It was ugly. Brett Rypien looked just a little bit better. Latavius Murray had 130. It was that. This should tell you what type of game. All right. It was the injury report game. Broncos win. You get it. All right. Somebody please make sure Jacoby Myers is still alive. All right. Please make sure that Bill Belichick has not buried him somewhere after what he pulled to lose this game. And what he pulled to lose this game. All right. First off, I mean just chaos. Absolute chaos. Ramondre Stevens goes 34 yards. Mac Jones to Jacoby Myers for the 2-point conversion. New England goes up 24-17. Looking like, okay, can they close out the game? Trot the defense out. Vegas hasn't been remarkable. Can they finish it? Of course they can. All right, Keelan Cole gets it from Derek Carr. We can argue on whether he actually caught that ball in bounds. But they gave it to him nonetheless. 32 seconds to go. All right, fine. Extra point. 24-24. We're going to overtime. Surely we're going to overtime. Right? This is another overtime game. Right, Chris? Right? No. Because Patriots, try to score, or at least get in field goal range. Let's toss the ball around, all right? Usual stuff. All right, we're going to toss it over. I'm going to lateral it over to the boy Jacoby. He's going to find somebody or he gets tackled. It's fine. We don't have to score. We can just go to overtime. It's fine. Just go to overtime. This was an unlikely scoring play anyway. No. Jacoby Myers throws a dot to Chandler Jones, who's no longer a Patriot, which is a problem because he stiff-arms Mac Jones like he is a mascot and he's a little child and takes it all the way to the crib for the pick six to walk off the game. I have never in my in my 21 years of living, seen anything like what the Patriots did to lose this game. Please, somebody check on Jacoby Myers and make sure he is still in one piece. Because this was embarrassing. Alright? Man threw a dime to Chandler Jones. Alright? And then Mac Jones with one of the worst tackling attempts you might ever see. I mean, he made an attempt, but Chandler Jones made him look like Chandler, NFL player, Mac, Pee Wee football player. It was bad. It was a funny, memeable, stiff arm tackle attempt. It was bad. Alright? And then Chandler Jones takes it to the crib, walk off, huge celebrations. Vegas is going crazy. Just improbable. Alright? Improbable. Absolute hilarity for neutral. Patriots fans are down horrendous. Alright? Horrendous currently. But yeah, just an embarrassing way to lose. Derek Carr goes 231 and 3 touchdowns in this game. Keelan Carr only had 2 catches. He made the most of it. Ramondre Stevenson had 172 yards for absolutely nothing because Jacoby Myers literally threw the ball away. And a comedic way and a historic way to finish that game. The Chargers take out the Titans 17-14. Defense shows up big time, all right? Defense, goal line stands. We love all of it. It was a great slate of games this week, all right, in terms of finishes. Because the Titans tied this game up with under a minute to go, 48 seconds. Tannehill runs it in. They tie it up. Herbert drives them down the field, finds Mike Williams, and then Dicker, the kicker, 43 yards. He gets it done. Not the greatest game for either quarterback, but they showed up when it matters. Chargers get the win. The Bengals take out the Buccaneers 34-23. Joe Burrow, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns for Burrow. Chase had 7 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Joey B continues to be the man. The King in the North is back. The Bengals are back. They're 10-4. I know it took a little while. They had to warm up a little bit. They were looking a little shaky, but rest assured, they're back. All right, they're back. The AFC is a little bit of a bloodbath, so I don't know if they're making the Super Bowl again, but they are back. Tom Brady, please retire after this season. I do not need to see the GOAT go through any more, even though it's somewhat satisfying, I'm sure, for a lot of fans and Brady haters, to see him this down bad and divorced and just team not playing well in a mess of a division. All right, somehow, some way, at 6-8, the Buccaneers are not yet out of the divisional, not the playoff race, the divisional, right? They could still somehow win this division, as bad as they've been this season. I digress. They lose at home. Bengals, Burrow, get it done. The Giants take out the Commanders 20-12 and take control of the wild card. In the winning streak as well. It was misery. This game was absolute misery for Commanders fans. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because they felt like Cowboys fans. Because it was like, you did all these things right. All you got to do is win. Just win this game. Get control. You just need to get a result here. You're at home. Just beat the Giants. Could not beat the Giants. Just couldn't. Call it whatever you want. Defense, offense not showing up, whatever you want to call it. Call it on Heineke even. Not that he was necessarily bad in this game. But whatever reason, Commanders, y'all just didn't have it now, did you? Just didn't have it. Giants had it, however. Saquon goes 87 yards and a touchdown. And, not the most interesting Sunday night game, but, big in terms of playoff position. Giants get a huge win against the Commanders. They get the momentum continuing, get that rolling, get back in the win column as well. They were kind of sinking a little bit. So, yeah, good win for them, huge win for them. And that was the NFL. Great week in the NFL as well. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to Roundup. Now, UFC. All right, we had a fight night headlined by Jared Cannonier and Sean Strickland. I did not get to see the fight, but Cannonier did get the split decision over Strickland, who, you know what? They're kind of feeding you to murder's row, so I can't be too mad at Strickland. Maybe they'll give you a little bit of a layup next, but you faced the killers in middleweight over the past. Maybe they're going to give him Izzy next, right, Dana? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to give Izzy Strickland next, and, just more pain for Strickland, taking more years off of his life. But yeah, Cannonier, Strickland, apparently it was a pretty solid fight, pretty good fight. I didn't hear anything about, refs or if this was a bad decision, so we'll see if Killer Gorilla, that was the right choice. But he gets the win at least here. And Strickland, we'll see if he can get back in the win column next time around. Baseball, yes, let's talk MLB, free agency going on. Carlos Correa, headed to the Giants. He's going to San Fran, not Aaron Judge. But Correa is going to San Fran on 13 years, $325, I believe. Whole lot of money, whole lot of years. He's going to be there till he's in his 40s. But yeah, Giants, they wanted to spend the money. They spent it. They got their guy. We'll see if Correa can perform. Carlos Rodon headed to the Yankees. We need the pitching help. Hopefully this is the answer. We've given up some stuff, with that said. And we'll see if it pays off like I said. But happy to get Rodon. We need the pitching help. You can never not have enough pitching in this league. Now, Charlotte sports. I really do hate to dunk on you. I really do hate to dunk on Charlotte sports this week. But I can't help it. Jokic had a 2K-esque scoreline against the Hornets yesterday. 40 points. It's not even the 40. It's the fact that it's 40 points, 27 rebounds. He had 20 rebounds at halftime. He could have had a 40-30. Oh, by the way, 10 assists. He nearly had a 40-30-10 triple-double. How, Hornets? How does this happen? Please explain to me, because I don't understand. Jokic. It's like he heard everybody saying, wow, the MVP really hasn't been the MVP lately. And he's been on a tear the past 2 weeks. Been on a tear. But yeah, a 2KS scoreline, 40-27-10, some ridiculous triple-double scoreline. Looks like some, again, my player stuff. But shout out to Jokic. Nuggets starting to build some momentum. Other notable performances in the NBA before I log off. KD has been fantastic, by the way, having a sleeper 30-point scoring season. He had 40 the other day versus the Pistons. Book scored 58 versus the Pelicans, getting a little bit of revenge for the 2 weeks ago when they were on the tear. He almost scored 60. He was hurt. He was hunting for that 60 as well. Unfortunately, he didn't get it, but they did get the W. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. And without further ado, Ocho signing off.